Welcome back to WWE 2K25 Showcase, Bloodline Dynasty, with me, the 99th Wrestling Fan.
I'm the last guy to knock a revolution. I've led a few of those, you know. I admire revolutionaries. I respect evolutionaries. They are the lifeblood of the bloodline. So when Solo Sikoa seized the moment and became the tribal chief in Roman Reigns' absence, I didn't like it. I don't even think I respected it. But something deep down in me admired it. That took some forward thinking.
I'm the chief now!
Now we all know what happened when the OG bloodline, led by Roman Reigns, faced the new Rogue bloodline, led by Solo Sikoa, in the WarGames. But there was a discussion here while planning the WWE 2K25 showcase that has me, your wise man, admittedly a little intrigued. What if WarGames was limited to only OG bloodline, no honorary uses, versus Solo's Rogue bloodline, no honorary uses? It's 4-on-4 Roman Reigns. The Usos, Sami, Zayn, versus Solo Sikoa, Tama, Tonga, Loa, and the most dangerous new competitor WWE has ever seen, the Samoan werewolf Jacob Fatu. What happens then? This is your moment to determine who is the real bloodline. This is your moment to determine who is the only bloodline. This is where the bloodline's legacy and the bloodline's future is in your hands.
Okay, so it looks like we got a choice between OG and Rogue. We're going to do this properly. We're going OG Bloodline, although I am tempted to do the Rogue Bloodline at some point. Well, it's called the bonus episode. No. But it's time for WarGames. And WarGames is a great, one of my favorite matches. So, for those of you who don't know, these are the official rules of WarGames. Just because I'm talking over it. 2 teams, separate stages. This is more new school, because originally you just had all the guys on the ringside area, kind of 4 on one side, 4 on the other, similar to regular tag matches. And then team members come in alternating. One team that will naturally have an advantage. This is usually determined by, nowadays, a match, like a week and a half, like 2 or 3 days on the go home shows before. That's when they'll determine who gets the advantage, or they'll do a coin toss. And sometimes the coin toss is just we just need some excuse. Like, we didn't do the match. That's all it is. I know when NXT did the WarGames matches, they would do a ladder match and it had a briefcase that held the contest for the advantage. But I think when they moved it up to the main roster for Survivor Series, they've kind of just done either a one-on-one, a tag match, or they've done the coin toss. So, I believe in actuality, I'd have to check up on this. But while this was 2024, based off 2024, flipping WarGames, the men who had the advantage for this one? I want to say it was Solo's Bloodline that had the advantage, but I'd have to check in on that. So, that being said, yeah, it was the case. Yep, that was the case. They had the advantage. But, good old Jey Uso, main event Jey Uso in this case, after he split from the Bloodline, turned face, and went to Raw to keep him safe, basically. The best way to, storyline-wise, they did that. Plus, it was like Cody's friend. He brought him in after he got basically excommunicated from the Bloodline by Jimmy, but then naturally WWE realized we'll make more money if we put them back together. So they put them back together for this match after having them face off at WrestleMania, the Usos. So because Jimmy lost at WrestleMania, Sikoa kicked him out. Roman Reigns was then kicked out by association, with Solo taking over the Bloodline, bringing in these 3 others. It's now 4 others at the time of recording this, but at this point it was 3. You had Solo, Tama, Tonga Loa, and Jacob Fatu. And man, was I hyped when Fatu finally showed up. I was waiting for him. He's one of those guys. I kind of found him from the independents, and I'd heard about him like through Grapevine, and I looked him up and saw I binged a ton of his matches during COVID, and I'm like, I need this guy. I need to see this guy like more. And I would go to indie shows, and kind of bigger name was hoping he might be there. No, not even like the WXW, the one show I went to, but I didn't see him being advertised for the final show that they were doing, which was probably the only reason I would have gone to that one. And also had it not been sold out. But no. I could probably go into a full thing. But I'm going to cover him later, because one of the things that annoys me, and I'm using like quotations around this, is a lot of the showcases now in the game, they're like, alright, here's all your matches. Oh, but wait, we have bonus matches for you, which I'm like, just tell me you have more matches, don't give me bonus matches, because they don't. You're gonna give me unlockables, which there are unlockables. I'm like, that's not a bonus match. To me, a bonus match is getting something like more, I guess you could say that's higher, but I don't know. So it's like there's 3 bonus matches. So you have this match, and then 2 others that I'm not going to necessarily spoil, but that's beside the point. You know, it's funny. Heyman said no honorary ooze, but he let Sami Zayn in the match, which I think just translates to it was their excuse to get rid of Bronson Reed and CM Punk from the match, because the game can't do 5-on-5 combat. Plus, the CM Punk thing was used to more or less progress the storyline. I think the Bronson Reed thing was just, we can't get this person in yet, so we're going to put you in as a placeholder. And I'm not going to say this is definitely what was going to happen. All this stuff is coming from like dirt sheet rumors and kind of people who, I want to say, don't do, just not the most trustworthy sources is the best way to describe it. But they were all saying, oh, maybe it was going to be Hikuleo, who's now known as, I think it's Tonga, which, I kind of would prefer Hikuleo, even if they did it Hikuleo Tonga, but I'm not in charge of their legal department. But no. On to WarGames, because I'm going to have plenty of time. WarGames was one of the Dusty Rhodes creations in WCW and Jim Crockett Promotions, but As you can see, it's different than your typical match where the fact it's got 2 rings, 1 giant cage, no roof, but that's more of a new school edition. The old school edition had a roof, but it was designed you at 4-on-4, 5-on-5, whatever combination, and you all fought, and that's what it was. So you only won via pinfall or submission after everyone entered the cage, so these matches typically go on for about 30 minutes. Because traditionally it's like a 5-minute interval for the first participant, and then it's every 3 minutes. And how popular was this match? There's been at least 3 match types that have been inspired by this match. In TNA Wrestling, they do a similar match. Well, they did a similar match called Lethal Lockdown, which was 1 cage, surrounded, alternating competitors. Once everyone was in, your earlier TNA, they would lower a roof, and it was covered with weapons that you could use, and they'd fight, and just pinfall had to take place within the cage or on top of it because it had the roof, and you could flip out and use weapons and such. They have recently, I've noticed in TNA that they've stopped doing the Lethal Lockdown and just do what they call a hardcore war, which is the same thing, but no steel cage. So in this case, and they were kind of doing this earlier, the last participant of your respective team is who brings in the weapons. But, you know, naturally, because nobody ever waits for that, weapons are kind of brought in, or like a wrestler, if they're known for bringing in a weapon, will bring in the weapon for themselves. So, kind of that's what happened. Another match that was that was inspired from WarGames would be in WWE, the Elimination Chamber, which is one big steel structure with pods. You're put into the chamber. If you're one of the first 4 entrants, they put you in a pod. If you're one of the last 2, you start out in the ring. Every so often, they open up a pod. You get in. You lose the match. If you're pinned or submitted, you're eliminated. And it's just the last one standing. Finally, All Elite Wrestling has their Blood and Guts match, which is basically it's WarGames, but we can't call it WarGames because we'll get sued. 2 rings, 1 giant cage. I believe theirs does have a roof, and you can leave the cage, but you can only win by tap out or someone on the team quit and like submit for the whole team. So, an interesting concept. Usually it's Blood and Guts is very bloody and barbaric, and they use a lot of unorthodox weapons, or just about anything they can get their hands on. Like, I think one time I saw one, they had John Moxley, who's been involved in a bunch of them. He was like spraying people with like rubbing alcohol after cutting them open, so it just stung the cut in a way to try and get them to submit or give up. But that was just crazy stuff like that. They would use, in AEW at least, they use broken glass, and then you had your thumbtacks, and then you had your conventional weapons, your tables, your ladder, not really ladders, your tables, your chairs, the cage itself, kendo stick, baseball bat, all of that stuff is what they would use. But, truth be told, I do like the roof of the WarGames. Like, I like the roof aspect of the WarGames better. I don't like how, like, with WWE, it's like, oh yeah, pin or submit. Oh, but if you leave, you quit the match for the team. So it's like you'd lose if you escape the cage, but what? In my opinion, why bother giving him that option? I mean, I guess it'd be different if they used it, but primarily I think the roof is just removed so they can do a lot of high-flying spots. So no, that's probably the whole reason they removed the roof, is so they can do high-flying spots. Because on the women's side of things, because they do a men's and a women's WarGames match, typically there's at least one high flyer in every match, or someone that will jump off the top of the cage. And I think it's just to create moments now that I'm voicing this out loud. So, okay, that's two. Yep, this is the annoying thing right now, is I gotta make them all bleed. Why did they make this a challenge? I don't know. They just did. That's not what I needed you to do, Tonga. Whichever one you are. But, anywho, covering the two Tongans in this match. That's dumb. Covering two people in the Dynasty that have not been touched on. Tonga and Tonga Loa. Two legitimate brothers who were in and around the WWE system, but got more known for their time in Japan. So, being picked up by New Japan, Tonga Loa were all around. Now, Tonga was one of the core 4 members of the Bullet Club, which that's a whole different tangent I can go on. But he was one of the core 4 members with Prince Devitt, who is now Finn Balor, Bad Luck Fale, himself, and Carl Anderson, who had a brief stint in WWE. Eventually, he needs a tag partner for various things, so he brings in his brother Tonga Loa. They form the Gorillas of Destiny, and they go on a tear in Bullet Club. So they're 2 members of the Bullet Club. They are multi-time IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champions. Tonga is a 3-time Never Openweight Champion. Both have participated in the New Japan Cup and New Japan Series G1 tournament. Neither one of them have won the G1, but they did win the World Tag League a handful of times, which is similar thing to the G1, but for a tag team. If you don't know what the G1 is, or the World Tag League, they are G1 is a multi-man, World Tag League is a multi-team, tag team tournament that's competed round-robin style. So you face everyone else in the tournament, or you'll face everyone in your block, depending on how they do it. Face everyone, you're given points based off of a win, loss, or draw. It's typically 2 for a win, 1 for a loss. No, 2 for a win, 1 for a draw, none for a loss. That's a mistake. So, and that's where you want to go through, win all your matches. And if you can't win, try and force them into a draw to get the most amount of points possible. So, that's basically how those tournaments work. And then usually the top 2 point getters, if they do it in block format, your number 1 point getters in both blocks will face off with each other. If it's just one group, your first place and second place person will take them on for the title. Well, for the tournament finals. English is hard. And then the winner of the tournament overall will take on the champions of the tournament. So typically, if you win the G1, you take on the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. World Tag League, you take on the IWGP Tag Team Champion Heavyweight. So that's how those tournaments work. And eventually, they had ran their course in Bullet Club, being in there since the beginning in 2013. About 2023, I want to say maybe 22. The two of them were kicked out of Bullet Club following just Jay White, the leader at the time, shaking it up. So they kicked the two of them out, and they kind of went their own way, started attempting to get their own matches and singles goal, like just kind of exploring the waters. Eventually they both kind of let their contracts in New Japan expire, and both made their way to the WWE, where they have been now. Unfortunately, I think Tama had when this match actually occurred in actuality, Tama suffered a pretty nasty ankle injury, and he's been out of commission since then. This is being recorded, by the way, late July, and this event usually takes place in November, so he's been out almost 8 months, so he might be back soon, but honestly at this point, who knows. Well, finally got them all bleeding, so that's a good sign. Are you kidding me? I gotta do a super finisher. Oh, that bite. That's mostly because it's just a pain, and the fact it's only Reigns and Sami that can do it, so alright. Just gotta figure out, as long as I know who I am, as long as I'm one of them, I'll be fine. And it looks like I'm gonna do so. Nope, I'm Roman. There's so many bodies in this ring. Check it out. Okay. Thank you, Sami, for helping out. Alright. Where are we? There's Roman. That's who I am. So yeah, you can kind of tap on the PlayStation, at least the center button, or like the center touchpad. It'll change whoever you're in control of, and sometimes I just do that so my eye will just see where it goes and I know who I'm in control of, and then I'll quickly cycle through until I get to who I want. So it's one of those things. Alright, well that covers WarGames, that covers the Tongan, well, Tonga Loa, and Jacob Fatu. I'm saving for a couple more matches. That's another thing. I will save that for the next episode. So, WarGames, again, is another, it's a recent addition to WWE because, well, Triple H wanted to do it for a while, Vince said no, so he brought it back in NXT. And once Vince kind of quietly left the company, Black was forced out. Magically, WarGames is on the main roster, which kind of, I think, tells us everything we need to know, that Triple H always wanted it for the main roster, but he couldn't get it. But now that you're the guy in charge, you can get whatever you want, because you are the guy in charge. Okay, how many finishes are we at? We are nowhere near 3 for either of them. Dang. Alright. The problem is the super finisher that they need me to do, it requires me to get 3 finishers and put them in a specific situation. So for Roman, I know I have to beat the snot out of them and keep them until they do it for a Superman punch spear combination, which is what's taking this thing so long. That's what and I just got fucked. Yeah, so we're starting to use the Samoan Spike at this point in an homage to Umaga, who Mark covered a handful of episodes ago. Go watch those videos if you haven't. Or don't. Do whatever you want if you're alive. I'd like for you to go back and watch them. Maybe leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. But, it's not overall important. It would just be nice if you did. Alright. Kick out of that. Okay. So. Going for a lot. Slower than I did. Well, now I'm out of stuff. Because, let's see, what else do we have? I mean, the first, well, First WarGames match, I'll be honest, took place in, where? Yeah, forget it, I'm just dragging it on. Jacob Fatu. Probably one of the baddest guys alive. One of them. Kind of had a little bit of a rough patch growing up, but eventually straightened out. Went to Booker T's Reality Wrestling School, which a lot of these guys went to. And while there, he ended up honing his craft, becoming great. Got picked up by Major League Wrestling. Eventually won and held the MLW World Championship for the longest reign. You couldn't ask us by that longest reign because it was during COVID, which probably they had one of the best reasons for COVID, was they just came in and shut it down. They came in, invaded the main offices, and they're like, yeah, we own this now, so, we're done. No more shows. Jacob Fatu forever champ. And pulled the plug on all their shows, and that was their COVID excuse. He eventually dropped the belt to, Alexander Hammerstone, who's now in TNA as Hammerstone. Dropped the belt to him, and kind of just spends a whole minute getting it back, nursing himself up, before eventually coming to WWE. There we go, that's everything. We win, the OG Bloodline wins, and I guess, because as of this, the finale of Sonic Colors went up. I love that handshake. I love the fact they put that in, by the way. I guess Sunday I'll see you, well, I guess I'll catch you either. If I decide to post the next project starting Sunday, you'll see me then. If not, you'll see me next Wednesday where the next match will be. And that one is, if I remember correctly, it's the Islanders and the Street Profits. Catch y'all then.